Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And we're going to talk about this, how to write a review, which you can find if you go to our Google Drive and you go to Project 1, right here, 519, that's today, is how to write a review. So you can find it there. It's easy to locate, and it will help you all kind of with the format that is expected for your written reviews of each other's projects. It'll be similar to what you wrote today, or what you wrote for your peers last class, but a little bit more formal. So you're going to look at the work of 3 of your peers, and I'll send you all a list of exactly who, and then you'll write them an email, and you'll please make sure you CC me on it, because each time you send these out, that is your responsibility. I sent another email today asking for ones that were not CC'd to me, but in the future, because this class is moving so fast and I have so many other things to do, I will not be CCing, or I will not be sending reminders. So please make sure that you're following the correct format and that you're CCing me. You're going to do 4 things. You're going to describe the work using vocabulary, like art vocabulary and the fundamentals of design. So you want to think about the arrangement, right? Is there some interesting movement happening throughout the piece? Talk about the use of color. Talk about the rule of thirds or ideas of symmetry. Think about regulating lines. Think about texture and patterning that's happening throughout the piece. And so you want to give an objective description of the work. This is not the opportunity to tell us whether or not you like the work, or if you think it's good. You will just, using facts, state what you see in front of you. I see 3 stone carvings arranged in a triangle with flowers, with, pastel flower backgrounds, right? Not an opportunity to tell us whether or not you think the work is cool or anything. Just facts and state what you see. And then you would say, based on my observations, I believe so-and-so's goal was to talk about the role of femininity throughout the history of painting. Then you will say, for the 4th sentence, you will tell us, these are the ways that I see that theme coming through the work. And you will state specific examples throughout the piece. You have to be specific. You have to point to certain things. In the lower left corner, you see a steel mask overlaid with daisies, and that leads me to believe this. So you have to be descriptive. You have to use vocabulary. You have to tell us exactly what you are seeing. And then you will give 3 sentences in which you're saying, here are 2 things in this work that could be improved and why. So one could be a craft thing, and one could be, I'm a little unsure about the connections between this piece, and I really wonder how you could make that stronger. It could also be about the arrangement. This looks really great, but the composition feels crowded, or some of these pieces are cut off or cropped on the edges, and that is uncomfortable. So you will give 2 things that you think could be improved, and why. Why do those need to be improved? What would they do to further the composition if they were improved? So you should have a total of 2, 3, 4, 7 to 8 sentences here. They should be full sentences. You should be specific. Give examples. Tell us what quadrant of the work you are noticing this thing. Tell us what colors you're talking about. Green is not specific. Green is general, right? Are we talking about like a pastel green, a dark green, an army green, a muted green, right? A very highly saturated green. Those are all different ways that we can describe green. Tell us exactly what you're looking at. Tell us about the texture of the objects. Constructive feedback is very important to a good critique. There is no way we can grow and learn and become better artists if we're not telling each other how we could improve or what could be better, right? That's not mean, it's helpful, it's important. It's your role as a peer to help your peers become better artists. And so we don't want to just tell people how great their work is, because we already know that, right? We want to help people become better artists. We want to help them create greater works of art in the future. And that is your job as a peer in this class. So there's a difference between being mean, saying like, this piece is garbage, this looks like shit, right? Those are not nice ways to help people. Though that is mean. Telling someone that their work is really great is not productive. It doesn't help us become better artists. Being constructive is saying something like, this action here is really, really great because it does these things, right? The repetition produced here is really wonderful because it draws my eye towards the center of the composition. However, it would be wonderful to see repetition repeated other ways or other areas in the composition. That is a constructive critique. You can tell people what is working, but you have to explain why it is good, why it is working, and then you have to say where other places are not working. That is a constructive critique. So we're not looking for anyone to say anything like, this is a really great project, because that doesn't help us become better artists, right? You could say the repetition used in the upper right corner is really successful in pulling the eye towards the center of the canvas. That is a wonderful critique. So we need to be constructive. We don't want to say, that's cool, that's pretty, that's nice. And you should also discuss not only technical skills, are they doing masking well? Are they creating interesting patterns? Is this an open or closed composition? Is there nice arrangement of objects on the screen? But also concept and meaning. What is the content that we're seeing here? What is the narrative? What is the story they're telling us? And so those are all things that you should discuss in your written review. So we shouldn't see any sentences that start with, I really like your work, because that doesn't help us, right? Because there's probably things about this work that you really like, and there's probably things about this work that you don't really like. And so saying, I really enjoy this aspect of the work because it does this is an appropriate sentence. But saying, I really like the work is not an appropriate sentence for a critique. Also saying, I hate this is probably not a great sentence to say either. So we don't want to be polite because politeness isn't going to help us be better artists. We want to be constructive and helpful, which is completely different. And so I hope that we can walk that nuanced difference or line between those two to really help our peers become better artists, but also to really push ourselves to be better critiquers and reviewers and observers of art, which is also a really important skill to learn through this process. So this is posted in our Project One folder here for you all to view, and you can just let me know if you have any